In a remarkable exchange, the presidency has responded to former President Olusegun Obasanjo's critique of Nigeria's democracy. The special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Ononuga, fired back at Obasanjo, attributing the current state of the nation's democracy to decisions made during Obasanjo's leadership. The response comes after Obasanjo's critical comments during a high-level consultation on rethinking Western liberal democracy in Africa. Obasanjo suggested that Western democracy model had not delivered good governance and development in Africa, proposing a re-examination and moderation of democracy tailored to Africa's unique needs. The presidency, however, criticized Obasanjo for poorly implementing the presidential system, highlighting flaws in the copied model. Ononuga argued that if Obasanjo truly believes in his current views, he should advocate for a return to the parliamentary system. And of course, joining me to further discuss this is public affairs analyst Muyiwa Ojeniyi. Thank you so much for your time, Muyiwa.
Thank you very much, Dapo, for having me. Good evening once again.
Good evening. All right, now former President Olusegun Obasanjo, in his critique against the Western liberal democracy, argued that African countries have no business operating a system of government without having a role in its definition and design. Do you agree with this?
Yes, Dapo. To a very large extent, I go with Baba Obasanjo's view, because if you look at the implementation of the presidential system of government, which is the democracy we currently run in Nigeria, as a case sample, we would want to say that it has not fully impacted the lives of the citizenry. The representation might not actually, we're not able to measure in depth the representation of what the presidential system of governance offered us. So to a very large extent, I want to go with Baba's view, because it's a copied model, I'm afraid I would say that the culture of the people, the thoughts of the people were not put into practice. For instance, if you look at the 1999 Constitution, to a very large extent, some citizens in Nigeria will tell you it is not a people's constitution. It is not a constitution of we the people. So if we're towing Baba's line, yes, I want to go with him 100%. We want a democracy that it is of the people. If democracy, the true definition of democracy is for the people, then it must reflect the will of the people at all times, from top to bottom, from bottom to up. So I agree with Baba's representation 100%. I agree with him 100%.
Transitioning from what we understand as representing all the people to being represented by a few individuals, have a majority of the people.
Okay, yes, thank you, Dapo, once again. That's actually would mean that the representation we're clamoring for, when we look at that transitioning of the majority to the minority, you will now see that that representation will not even be achieved at all, because we'll now be having the focus of the representation to just a few. Just what is happening right now in the current system where we're looking at the total number of people representing the whole of citizenry. If you look at it, calculate it, it's not even up to 10,000, and Nigeria is estimated to have over 200 million people. So it means that there is a huge gap in our representation system. There is a huge gap.
Now, talking about the presidency and its response, noted that the former President Olusegun Obasanjo should have advocated return to parliamentary system of government. Now, if he truly believes, of course, in his own view, now, do you think this is a potential solution to the challenges faced by Nigeria's democracy?
Okay, return to parliamentary system of government might actually solve the issue of high cost of governance on one hand, but it doesn't still solve the issue of our own participation. That's the participation of the citizenry in democracy. It doesn't solve the problem. And the problem still persists in the sense that as citizens, the power is not with us. The power is just with the selected few. So the return to the parliamentary system of government might just be one step out of 100 steps. But yes, it might actually make a whole lot of sense, because one, we're able to save so much cost on governance. We're able to also save, we'll also be able to increase our representation. But The major issue still remains that how do the citizens get the power to be at the forefront of running democracy? So I don't think returning to parliamentary would be the full solution, but it could be one step towards the 100 steps we are looking at.
All right, thank you so much for your time, Muyiwa.
Thank you very much.